Do you have the Jaden Smith tattoo still?
I have 2.
Can you show them, or is it in a place that you can't
I could
show?
I mean, it's on my thighs. Yeah.
Do you mind showing?
Yeah,
anything?
I can show you. Yeah.
So talk to me about the Jaden Smith tattoo.
Yeah.
It's a little odd of a thing to do
It's
because
odd.
he's a person.
He's a person
who exists.
who
And
exists.
when you got it, he was like 20 years old.
15.
If I'm being completely honest, I was snobby about when the show first came out.
I could imagine. A
'Cause
lot
I
of
was,
people.
I was
a
like,
lot
oh,
of people I
hidden
could
camera.
imagine. Yeah.
There's a lot of hidden camera stuff over the years. And I remember my turning point was I saw Doug Stanhope post about it.
Oh yeah, he was an early supporter.
Yeah. And Doug Stanhope is one of my favorite comics on the planet. He has more artistic integrity than almost any artist I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In the sense that he has full commitment to his ideas, which are insane.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with any of them.
Sure.
Disclaimer. But
I love him. He's a very, very dear
an
friend.
extraordinary comedian.
Yeah.
But so he posted about it years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this all about? And then I watched it and I go, oh, what's special about it is it's a hidden camera show, but ultimately it's about the love between friends.
Yeah.
I think. Do you think that that's part of it?
I think
it's a real friendship.
It's 100%
and
real.
you're forcing each other to do things you don't want to do.
Pretty much, yeah. It's social football. I mean, it's basically friends competing.
Yeah.
And at this point, like this many episodes in, we're always trying to like evolve the show.
Yeah.
And so we've come so far in just even the sensibility of the show. We gain more creative control. And so we're able to like now in the later seasons way more put our sensibility on. There's like we let things breathe, and there's much more of like scenes and like it's way more of a journey through stuff. Where in the beginning we were under the network thumb basically, and they were just like, we want this many things, we want quick cuts, you get out, you want this many jokes. And the guy that was there at that time was insane.
Oh really?
Dude, he got fired because agents from all the talent got together and went to his boss and was like, he doesn't know how to treat people.
Wow.
And so with the success of our show, they started to do away with those shows and bring in comedy. But he would be like, I remember one time it was episode 4 when he saw the first joke he didn't like. Yeah. And he called us into his office in where was it? It was it was up in Columbia Circle over there, right? And he sat us down and he just reamed us. And he's like, this is not what it was, like one joke.
Oh wow.
And the joke, I don't remember what it was, but it was fine. It was nothing even, but you would never know. Like he would contradict. He'd be like, this is okay. And now I was never one to really like, when it comes to the material, like the only thing that got me there is I feel like in my own jurisdiction, I know what I think is funny and why I do something, right? Yeah. So he would say like no to this and no to this. He'd have us in there to be like pacing back and forth. We'd sit like we got called into the principal's office. Yeah. And I would always be like, well, why is that? Because you just said this, and that completely contradicts that. Yeah. So I was like, so you're like telling us like you've told us something that we should know, but your messaging is completely off. You understand if you could say this, and then you ask us why we're doing this, but this begets that. So he would always just be like, just get like so upset. So one time he goes, here's what I'm going to do. Because we wanted a raise. Because the show was a big hit. Like it was a big hit.
Yeah. Blew
and
up.
Yeah. And we wanted a raise. I think it was in between the first and second season. And they gave us what amounted to like, it was like a 5% raise or whatever. But the show was really big. Yeah. And we were making nothing in the beginning.
Yeah, of course.
I could have worked at any normal, like regular non-entertainment job. People think you're on television, you're rich. Right. Yeah. I was just making money just like I would have been at my job before that, right? Yeah. And he said, here's what I'll do. He goes, we'll do a focus group and then we'll poll you guys. And whoever is the least favorite in the focus group will fire that person. No. And the other 3 can absorb their salary for your raise. No. That's what he said to us. Yeah.
No way.
It was wild. Yeah.
I've never heard of anything like that in my life.
I'll keep going. Then he told us he wants all the jokes in advance. And we said, what do you mean?
And it's like an improvised show, basically. Yeah.
I'm like, we have buckets and stuff, but also one of the things I love about our show so much is just being in the moment. It's exhilarating because like,
and a lot of it for people who haven't seen the show, like a lot of times it'll be, you'll be in James Murray's ear and you'll tell him he has to say something,
Sure.
at a convenience store or
Sure.
or a laundromat or something like that.
Yeah.
And he really has to do it.
Yeah, you really
And
have to do it.
so you're either saying lines that you wrote in advance, or you're
Yeah.
just riffing based on what the circumstances are because you're looking at it through cameras.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's interesting hearing your thing about notes, because this is something I've agonized over through the years, which is with a lot of times the sitcoms that we all complain about and the shows that we all complain about because they feel like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
If you look into it, more often than not, they're buried by notes from the network and the studio.
It's the death.
And it's these shows where the artist doesn't have quite enough juice to overrule their boss and say, no, actually, this is my voice. I'm the artist. I'm the comedian.
Why did you hire me?
Why'd you hire me? Right.
Yeah.
But then you look at like your show, you look at Curb Your Enthusiasm, you look at South Park. These are shows where essentially Larry David, Matt and Trey, etc., just go, no,
We're running the roost.
we're gonna be in charge.
Yeah.
And if
They kept us in a cage and made us shit on each other for a long time, and now like the tide's turn. And then also the network has changed hands 4 or 5 times. I mean, from the largest point, like just acquisitions and stuff.
Yeah.
And usually they really acquiesce because, we've proven it now. Like it's like someone that's there now when we're there in our 11th season over 13 years. It's like, all right, we'll let them do whatever they want to do. But yeah, he said, well, tell me. He's like, just write every scenario you think there could be, every permutation. And he goes, if a middle-aged one walks in, or if a couple walks in, and then write all. He goes, if an Asian person walks in, I'm like, what?
Oh, God.
What do you mean? And then yeah, we got him good though, because we got him back. So one time he goes, look, I'm going to take you guys out, right? But we'll celebrate or whatever. I'll take you out to dinner or whatever. We're gonna. So we're like, all right. And he's like, what do you guys want? And he goes, so we had this thing from when we were young kids. Whenever we celebrated anything, we go to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
It was just something we always did.
Yeah.
And we just loved it, right? Figure it's fun, kitschy, like. And he's like, Red Lobster? He's like, no. He's like, I'm not going to go to Red Lobster. And he literally goes, I'll take you guys to like Per Se.
Right.
All right, well,
Something
great.
fancy.
I mean, beautiful meal,
Yeah.
and an arm and a leg, and sure, I'd love to eat there. But we were like, all right. So he calls up, gets a private room, which I didn't know that existed.
Oh, wow.
But I guess the Times Square Red Lobster, I guess maybe sometimes has dignitaries. I don't know.
Yeah. Or birthdays. Children's birthday parties.
So we get there, he's not there, and so they put us in this room. We're like, oh wow, you got a private room, okay. And we knew he was going to be on the way. I've never really. I don't think he's ever. I mean, this is 10 years ago, but we get the waiter. We go, listen. When they come in and we order, we're going to order normally.
Yeah.
But we'll tell you now that when I say I'll have some lobster, bring like the 4-pound lobster for everybody.
Okay.
When I say I'll take some crab legs, like bring as many pounds as you
Okay.
want. I'm only going to say that.
Overkill.
Yeah. I mean, just to the umpteenth.
Yeah.
And the guy was on board. We're like, listen, please, just do us a favor. And so we ordered casually. Like, I'll have the number 2. And then it was the 4 of us, him and his second in charge. There's 6 of us there in this private room. And then Bill came, and it was like $700 and something dollars. And we knew to watch his face, and he opened the thing, and he just went like. And we're just like, what's up? And he's like, no. And he goes, we don't want to. We're like, is everything okay? He goes, no, yeah. He didn't know. He didn't understand. So we were just like, oh. So he takes out his card, and then Murray, to his credit,
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was doing this. He pulls out of his pocket a $5 off coupon that he printed.
That's funny.
He printed on his desk jet printer, and he goes, I have a $5 when he slides to him, and the guy goes, "I'll fuck your coupon."
That's
but,
great.
I mean, in a playful way, but he was like, and he had no idea why it was.
But couldn't he have known from all the lobster coming in?
I guess, but I
Okay.
mean, I don't really know if he knows the pricing there.
Right.
I mean, he still was thinking Red Lobster, not Per Se.
Right.
And we wanted to give him a Per Se bill,
Right.
So we did, and then he had to do a tip on top of that and everything. So
What would be, because I feel like so much of this show, Working It Out, is about creating things, giving feedback. What do you think? Obviously, that's a case of like a nightmare piece of feedback. Someone just being like, say this. What are you going to say? Tell me exactly what you're going to say in like
Yeah.
a loosely scripted thing. what would have been helpful feedback in that moment? Would it have been just run wild, do whatever you want to do? Or would it have been a thing that, do you think that guy could have been helpful?
He could not have.
No.
There's no way
But
that
someone could have.
Oh, I love being collaborative. You know, like anyone on our entire crew, they're like family at this point. If people have ideas, I mean, it could go from the makeup, person to anybody on the, they're like, oh, this is, we're like a complete family. There's no, it's not like if we're in the writer's room, whatever, people walk in and out. Like it's just anything goes, even on set. Like
sound recorders, the
guys,
gaffer, yeah, sure,
everybody,
sure.
And
that's what David Chase always said about Sopranos,
Yeah.
which I always admired.
Yeah.
Which is he would take a note from anybody.
Anybody, why
Yeah.
not? I mean, I love it. I could choose to use it or not. If it's coming from someone that that is waiting for a response back from us,
Right.
and it's asinine. You also have to use kid gloves and manage, both ways, right? So you can't just be like, this is ridiculous because of this,
Right.
So it's always I have to approach it with like this kind of, kid gloves in a way, and just like try to explain to them what was intended and why I don't think that might work, or what issues, like how that would take away from it, or just really get in there like a surgeon and explain to them like meticulously like because that's how I write anyway. Everything is very meticulous.
Where do you begin stand-up bits?
Where do I begin them?
Yeah. Do you have a notebook? Do you jot just jot everything down?
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I'll use this, but I mean, I have just like 20, just notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll write everything down, cooked, not cooked, whatever, and I'll just and then whenever I'm ready to do something, I'll just flip through it and see what jumps out at me the most.
Yeah.
And then I'll just like target that one.
Yeah.
And just kind of pick that apart. So whenever I'm going, like, unless something comes to me, like, you're in the shower and you're like, oh my God, or sleeping. And how many bits have you lost in the middle of the night? Do you?
Oh, it's endless. I mean, the other night I was in bed and I couldn't fall asleep. And it's that classic Mitch Hedberg line, which is, I'm going to butcher it, but it's like you come up with a joke when you're lying in bed and you go, is it funny enough? You're doing the cost benefit analysis. Is it funny enough to get out of bed, or do I enjoy the sleep and take in the sleep?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think about that constantly. I had one the other night and my mind is completely restless. I know, deep down, the moment you take pen to paper, you're going to be awake.
100%. And it's like, can you afford to do it? And here's what I do. I just, and I have to stop, and I have to stop, but I lie to myself.
Yeah.
I say, commit the top. I'll say like 2 keywords, and I got this.
And you won't. You'll never.
95% of the time, I do not remember the keywords that I'm like.
You can't even remember
this
the
simple.
keywords.
And I'm laying in bed with my eyes closed, having this I'm just having this barter with myself. Like, here's what you have to do. You just remember these couple of words. You get up. The second you get up, you'll know what it is. And the 5% I remember it, I'll get up and I'm like, okay, I remember the word, but I don't really remember all the intricacies of why I thought that bit was funny or whatever.
The reason I got an office in my early 20s, when I really couldn't afford an office, and I got an office in Soho in this old industrial building, was because I was living on an air mattress in Queens, and I would come home from the comic strip at 3 a.m, and I could not sleep because I would write down everything, because my brain would be going from performing, and instead of going to sleep, the thing we're describing of the cost benefit analysis, for me, I hadn't walked through it. The logic of no, I need sleep to be alive.
Right.
So
but when it's there too, you
right.
Don't wanna,
and so I would write down all of it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't get any sleep, and then I'd be up. I'd have to go work at the temp at Pfizer or W magazine in the morning, and I would be late, and I would be terrible.
Are these back in your 2-drink mic days?
Yeah, that was before that. It was it was like a now out of print album called Dog Years. Yeah. And it was really taxing. So I got an office. It's really old industrial shared office with 4 other artists. Okay. And because I would have gone crazy.
You would have,
I would have gone completely crazy.
You had to just create the space and create the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that I thrive, and it's the toughest thing for me to do because I have ADHD and an OCD and I have a very busy schedule. So the toughest thing for me to do is to make sure that I set the time, but I thrive under deadlines and routine. You know? So I try to keep a routine, but it is tough. But I have my own space as well. Like,
wait, you said on Neil Brennan that you have a point, that your OCD has a thing with pointiness.
Yeah.
If this book, for example, that's here, if that's pointing towards you, does that freak you out?
Yeah, if it was
like pointy things that are pointed towards you is what you said.
Yeah,
on blocks.
Much. Yeah, on blocks. Yeah, that's been as long as I can remember.
So is there anything in the room right now that feels a little uncomfortable?
Right. So if I'm not paying attention, and whatever, but the second I notice something, I might you might not know, but I might be paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But there's varying degrees of pointiness and proximity, and also when I am on when I'm really going that day, like when I'm heightened, when my senses are heightened, because some days it's very heightened, then almost everything could bother me. Like I've had days in my house where I have had to turn everything. If I'm on the train and someone opens, or the plane, someone opens a newspaper and it's hanging right there.
Oh, the newspaper.
Yeah. Or
even though the newspaper offers no real threat.
Oh, nothing offers a threat.
Right.
It's not, I don't.
that desk offers a threat.
I'm not afraid of it. It's just it gets me to a point where I get so tense that I get this strain, this pressure headache and uneasiness, and I just get uneasy in my I don't know what it is.
Does it go back to childhood?
I believe so. I think my sister hit me. I don't know if this is it, but my sister hit me in the face with a Malibu Ken.
What's a Malibu Ken?
Yeah, you see this eye right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
it's got a red thing in it.
Yeah, that's been there since fourth grade.
Oh, Malibu Ken doll. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
But he's
from Ken and Barbie.
Way cool. Yeah, he's got board shorts and I think synthetic real hair.
Okay,
synthetic hair, but
say no more.
Yeah. But
cool.
he just came right at me. Oh. But I don't know if that's what it's for. But that is what this is from. But I just think that it's OCD. It's I have ADHD and that is tied to OCD. That's the only real OCD thing I have.
Yeah. I have it with birds close to my head.
I don't know if that's OCD so much as just human nature. I don't like
birds are close to my head.
Yeah, undomesticated fowl anywhere near my face.
Yeah.
Is that Seinfeld?
No, is there a Seinfeld on that?
No, there's a Seinfeld where
I'm not a completist. I love the show, but I'm not a completist.
Yeah. No, there was one where Elaine's dating this guy who would neg her.
Yeah.
And it would just be she would make believe that it didn't bother. It's so funny because this happened to me with my niece. But he goes, she was breaking up with him. She's like, all right, anyway, you have a big head anyway, so it's fine.
Oh my God.
And then she's walking in the street and a bird just hits her in the head.
Oh, wow.
And there's this guy sitting on the sidewalk and he looks up and he goes, that bird flew right into your head. Like he couldn't avoid it. So she plays off that she wasn't bothered by it, but then she becomes obsessed that she has a big head.
Oh, it's great.
Which my niece did to me one time. We were playing video games, and I wasn't taking it easy on her, you know.
Yeah.
And so she got upset, and she.
How young was she?
She was 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 5, maybe 6, and but they're like my kids, my nieces, right? I was super tight with them. And she got so mad. I'm like, well, I don't know. We were playing, and I trashed her. I'm like, I don't know. And she gets up and she throws the control and she goes, you know what, Uncle Sal? You're boring.
Oh my God.
And then she
complete non sequitur.
She walked out of the room, and I was
boring,
cracking up.
It was the thing burning inside of her.
It was. I don't know if it was. I just think she wanted to get me back, and she had to come up with something, and that was her mic drop, because she walked out of the room after that.
Yeah,
it was very ceremonious, and it didn't bother me. And then I was in bed later that night. I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, why would she say that? I'm not boring. If you know me, you know I'm not boring. No one's ever called me boring. As a matter of fact,
I don't think you're boring.
So this is true. And so she came to my house a few days later, and I was like, "Can I ask you?" I said, "Can I talk to you in the other room?" And I come in, and she closed the door, and I'm like, last week, 3 days ago, we were here. You got mad. You said I was boring.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Why would you say that? Because she's not. Look, she wasn't like, let me search something that's true.
Yeah.
She's not. It wasn't. No, she wasn't like. No, this is what I mean. She wasn't smart enough to be like, let me make this up, so it can hurt him.
Yeah.
Right. So she pulled from something.
Yeah.
Which means there was some truth in there to her.
Sure.
So it hurt me. You know what I mean? It's
I don't think it's from nowhere.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I was thinking about. I'm like, wait, this does hurt me.
Yeah.
Because I try to be like the uncle. You know what I mean? Like the goat. To them.
Yeah.
So I was like, why did you say that? Whatever. I was like. You come over, we build forts, we baked cookies, like we play games all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and she literally was like, yeah, but that doesn't make you not boring?
My daughter yesterday, she's just turned 9. We were walking down the street, and I go, how do you feel? How do you feel about 9? You know, and she was like, I still don't feel 9. You know. And I was like, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I go, I don't even feel 45. She goes, 45 doesn't even feel like a real number to me. She goes, 45 is a number I'd use in math class. I was like, these are great jokes.
That's so funny.
45 is a number I'd use in math class. This is called the slow round. What's a nickname that you've had in your life that's good or bad?
Oh God, I have so many nicknames.
Yeah.
Retro is one that still sticks.
Retro.
Yeah. Sally Retro.
That's fun.
Had that since 17.
Sally Retro.
Yeah, Retro. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
just because you're like old school.
Yeah, well,
you feel like of another era.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's that. I am an old soul. I will tell you that. But I think in college I went to St. John's and I would dress like in vintage clothes and use clothes and like old clothes and stuff.
Okay.
Like for fashion.
Right.
You know. And nobody did. I would come to school like at St. John's University in like a leisure suit, you know.
Retro. So any other nicknames? Bad nicknames? Good nicknames?
Well, so it's this extension of my names. I've had 2 names from the show be given to me that aren't real nicknames that have become real nicknames in my life because they were on the show. Mm-hmm. So Crispy is one of them.
Crispy's nice.
And I actually like that one.
Yeah.
They said to call myself, and I was like, I like Crispy. And I just was like, can you guys start calling me Crispy? But a couple of years ago, they renamed me Prince Herb.
That's nice.
And like the whole thing is like when we were kids, if you were a Herb, you were a nerd. Like,
yes.
So they came up with this name, Prince Herb. And I got, I lost on this episode. So they take me to Times Square.
Yeah.
It was like dead of winter. And they're like, we got to tell you something. We're going to rename you right now. And you have to rename yourself for this season.
Yeah.
Everything you do in your life, you are Prince Herb. So when you get called up to the mic at a club, you're Prince Herb. I did a late night with Seth Meyers. He introduced me as Prince Herb.
Oh, that's great.
On the news, Prince Herb.
That's great.
Right? I had to go like coffee, Starbucks. They're like, Prince Herb. Right? So I didn't, and so they
Prince
go,
Herb is great. The more you say it, the more I like it.
So they go turn around. I turn around. You know that in Times Square where they drop the ball?
Yeah.
Right? That
New Year's
building,
Eve. Yeah.
Yeah, that building is a billboard of me.
Oh, wow.
And it says, now introducing Prince Herb.
Wow.
And they made me pierce my ears. And for the season, I had to wear these huge cubic zirconia earrings.
Oh, gosh.
Whenever I got them to allow me to take them out in my real life. But like during the season, during the show, and every scene I was in, I had 2 cubic zirconia earrings.
Oh my gosh.
Just they wanted to herbify me, essentially.
Wait, do you have the Jaden Smith tattoo still?
I have 2.
Can you show them, or is it in a place that you can't
I could
show?
I mean, it's on my thighs. Yeah.
Do you mind showing?
Yeah, I can show you. Yeah.
So talk to me about the Jaden Smith tattoo.
Yeah.
It's a little odd of a thing to do.
It's
because he's a person.
He's a person
who exists. And when you got it, he was like 20 years old.
15. Let me correct you.
He was 15 years old.
15. This thing is, guys. There's tons of this story.
Oh, that's bananas.
Yeah. So, we lost. 3 of us lost. Joe he's like, I'm going to tattoo you guys, and you could choose. You could choose where it is. You will not choose what it is.
Oh my gosh.
And so Q went, and on his arm he got he's a cat guy, and he put a cat on him, and it had said 38 lives alone, has 3 cats.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, not bad.
Funny. Whatever.
Harmless.
Murray looks like a ferret, and so we threw him out of a plane once, and he cried the whole way down. And so we go to cry diving, and so he got a ferret that was skydiving. Right?
Yeah.
Fine.
Not bad.
4 hours in this chair. I peel off my thigh on camera, and it's a 15-year-old Jaden Smith, a photorealistic Jaden Smith.
Unbelievable.
And I said, why?
This is shocking.
There was no... I'm still shocked. I was like, why did you do this to me? Like, you could have done anything else. Like, he's like, what do you think it is? And I just guessed. I was like, Caesar salad. Because I knew it was going to be something random. I didn't understand what he was going to put on me. But he's like, for no reason, just Jaden Smith. And so I ran into Jaden Smith.
Oh, wow.
A couple of years after that Comic-Con. He was dressed as Batman. He had like a bespoke white Batman outfit.
Okay.
On. That was in a lot of the like news and stuff. He used to walk around in it. And I met him and I was like, I have to show him this. Right. And so he was walking with M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
They were doing
famous director.
Yeah. And they were walking together.
Yeah. And
I just was like, and so I was there for my show, but they didn't know. And I just was like, Jaden. And he turns around, I was like, I was not thinking. I go, I have to show you something.
Oh my gosh.
And I go to unbuckle my pants.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not thinking. And a security guard, a huge security guard, jumps right in front of me, grabs me. He's like, yo, whoa. No. And I go, oh my God. I go, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
I go, I'm so sorry. I'm a comedian. I go, I have a show. I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. And neither of them knew who I was. And then I was like, and then the other security guard knew who I was. And so he's like, no, he's good. And he got out of my face. I was like, I have a tattoo of you. And so I took it down and showed him, and I have pictures of it. And video. He like, oh my God. He was like 17. He's dressed as Batman. He goes, oh my God, I've never seen this before. He's like the first one. He goes on the case like, this is the first one. Like, I guess like, that has never happened. So in 2018, we filmed an Impractical Jokers movie.
Yeah.
And in it, there was a lot of surprises in it. And one day we go to this movie premiere in Brooklyn, and I didn't know that it was Jaden Smith's movie premiere. And so they have me go in, and there's a Q&A after the premiere. And so they put me in a shirt that says #1 Jaden fan, and they put Daisy Dukes on me so you can see the tattoo. And I go in there. At this point, he's like 20, 21.
Yeah.
I go in there, and they make me raise my hand. I get the mic, and they're telling me the questions I have to ask him, and I'm just like asking him these questions like I'm a teenage girl, like I'm just obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking at me weird, and people are like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
And I didn't know that he knew, so he calls me up on the stage, and he says, do you have a tattoo? And he shows her when everyone starts cheering and everything. He's like, oh wow, and I'm like embarrassed, right? I was like, embarrassing because everyone doesn't know that.
Right.
It is a weird scenario,
part of a
like you
bit
said
that you did.
Yeah, but it's a weird scenario because it does look like I'm.
Yeah,
crossing
a creep, yeah.
Creep, yeah. And then he says, well, I don't even look like that anymore. You should probably get a new one.
Oh, no.
And I was like, and everyone just starts cheering after that. And I'm like, what? And then he comes with me right off the stage. Goes a few blocks away to a tattoo. They set this all up, and then he poses for 5 hours for this one on my other thigh.
So he had, in advance, with your collaborators, agreed to do
this
thing where you get a second Jaden Smith tattoo of a modern day Jaden Smith.
Of him at that moment.
Updated at that moment.
Yes.
This is shocking, and also shocking for someone who over and over again is like, I'm uncomfortable saying things that are out of line, doing things out of line.
I'm going to show you this.
I mean, it seems like you're so at odds with your persona on the show, or the show is allowing you to do these things that you would be normally completely uncomfortable with.
I am completely uncomfortable. People think that the show is fun to do.
Yeah.
It is fun. But it also is, I live.
Are you going to show us the tattoos?
I am going to show you. I'm going to show you him. Here it is.
Oh my God.
That's the 15-year-old version.
That is amazing.
It's good work.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And then this is him.
The artist is very good.
Posing.
For
wow. The new one.
Wow. And that one's really nice too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And those live on me. I could show you them on
my person. I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. We've never had anyone take their pants off on the show before. This is the first time.
I would have known. I would have put a little lotion.
Right. No, I get it. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're not kidding.
No, I'm not.
That's a huge tattoo.
You think that one's big? Oh, okay.
Oh my God. This is your life. This is your life.
This is my life.
No, I mean, where is the boundary? Sal, where's the boundary?
Oh, I understand. Yes. I'm glad you're understanding with it.
There's no boundary.
There's no boundary. I'm the only man with one, and I'm then the only man with two, obviously. And the stories are abundant because every time in a new relationship,
oh my gosh,
there's that conversation.
Yes.
But it comes up like I will have fun with it,
Yeah.
Like I was at last summer I was at a barbecue when I know people don't know, and I just start I start incessantly talking about him.
Yeah.
To the point where I get someone to be like, "What, you really like Jaden Smith?"
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
And I go, "No, but I really do."
Yeah.
I go, "I have tattoos of him," and they go, and they laugh like that because they think that I'm just being facetious, and then I pull my legs out, and then they don't know how to act because they were kind of laughing at the fact that I had them, and then I show them that, and then it's a mixture of shock and then embarrassment, and then they don't know what to say. I was getting one time I was getting a massage. It was 58 minutes into this 60-minute massage, and I had my head in the thing, you know, and I feel the masseuse like come. I could tell they're right there, and I just heard this. I just heard Will Smith.
Oh my God!
Essentially asking me, "Is that Will Smith?"
Oh wow!
They went, "Will Smith," and I take my.
Oh my God!
Take my head whole because I completely forget that they're looking at that, right?
Of course.
And I just turned my head and I went, "No." I was like, that would be ridiculous.
Oh my God.
It's his son. And I just put my head back into the hole.
Oh my God. You are, your commitment to comedy is seemingly unparalleled.
Oh, well, that's a high compliment coming from you, man. That's crazy. Yeah.
You are living an actualized comedy life. That is your body that you have to live in day in, day out.
Yeah.
It must be meaningful. Comedy must be meaningful to you in a way that you can't even describe. Why do you think that is?
It's the most important thing. It's just there's nothing more important, right? I mean, like does
that go to your childhood? Is that like where does it go to?
Yeah.
What was the moment where you realized that it's that important to you?
I think it's the way my parents just raised me. That if you're gonna do it, you have to do it like all the way, all the time. And I remember one of the moments that it rang out. I was in kindergarten, and we were having graduation for kindergarten.
Yeah.
And the teacher gave every single kid had something to read on stage.
Yeah.
And it was like a line. It was like maybe one or two sentences, and they asked me to be valedictorian of the kindergarten class, right?
Yeah,
so she gave me like 2 paragraphs, and everybody else had like a sentence or 2.
Yeah.
And then I went home that night, and my mom made me memorize the 2 paragraphs. And then I went in the next day, and she's like, or maybe it was a couple days, and she's like, "All right, we're gonna see, you know, everyone get up and like, you know, in order and you say." And we went through 32 kids in that class. I'll never forget it. Miss Vitale, her name was, and not one person got their line.
They didn't even know their line.
2 lines right.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I stood up and I recited 2 paragraphs.
Wow.
to the letter.
Wow.
And she was like, at that time, she was like already like 80.
Yeah.
And I remember she slammed her hand on a desk and she went, "Now that sticks to my guns."
Wow. Wow.
I'll never forget it. I was 4.5.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I don't even know if I've heard that phrase, that turn of phrase.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
But I get it.
But I was like, oh, you know, and then that's like, I was like, that's what I was. Like, we would go to school and everyone would like unbutton their tie and their thing. And I would have my tie, my top button tie up and my cardigan buttons. Like, I just was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to do, you know? So it's like, I think that comes from there. It's like, with comedy too, it's like, you know, like, that's what you want. And, you know.
Right. Well, you want commitment.
You have
certainly.
Yeah, commitment. Commitment is
especially since as a comedian, you're up against thousands of people who basically want the same stage time that you
exactly
have.
Yeah.
And so,
but even commitment within a joke, like, you know, if something's bombing, you could bail on it or just dig into it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's way more beneficial to just dig into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a joke like that where recently you told a joke where you were like, well, I'm already here. It's not doing well, but I think it's funny.
Yeah, actually, I'm working on this joke about the death penalty. Where I would say, let me get this right. Because I have thoughts on the death penalty, but they're not really controversial. It's not like, do we have the right to take a life or not? And right away, just that.
The audience is gone.
That precursor.
The audience has left the building.
And especially in these times where people are like, kill him, don't kill him.
God,
you know what I mean?
yes,
like,
yes.
And it got a little tight. It gets tight. And then I was like, but that's not what I'm, you know, mine is more about the last meal.
Yeah.
So I say, for all intents and purposes, we could agree, like on paper, this is a murder.
Yeah.
Why are we catering the
Right.
murder? The last
why
one.
Are we catering?
Yeah.
The
Why
murder?
are we catering?
Yeah.
And so like, and then I'm like, oh, I think that's fine. No,
Yeah.
still quiet,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm like, and I'm like, it's not just that we're catering. It's the caveat that we have to get them anything they want. It's anything they want. I don't understand. It's like we feel guilty. Like we're going to put you down in front of these two people for what you did. But we're not animals.
Right.
So if you want to buy Tanache, let us know.
Right.
Anything you want. And then I'll say, there were times at the dinner table when I was younger that my mom would say, if you're going to act like that, go upstairs.
Yeah.
And I didn't get dinner.
Right.
For light horseplay. I say
for
this
light horseplay.
And this was the one where I'm like, if I get him, I get him. I say, this guy mows down a half a dozen at a Santander bank. We owe him pumpkin ravioli.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So
that's
one that it was like I'm still working through that because like I lose him sometimes and I gotta stick with that or whatever.
We owe him pumpkin ravioli.
He mows down a half a dozen at a Santander.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So I'm also it's definitely like but. And that's not a lot of my comedy either. So like that's pretty like
that's far for you. So who you are is a man with 2 Jaden Smith tattoos.
Yes.
But you're not dirty.
No.
You have standards.
I have standards.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
You're fine with having a tattoo of a child on both of your legs that are huge and completely precise to the person's face. I wrote this down recently. When my wife and I were first dating, she was always suspicious that I was cheating, and she would say it outright when I was on the road. She'd call me and be like, "Who's there with you in the hotel?" And I'd be like, "No one." And then it would sort of sit there. And now she doesn't ask me anymore. and I sort of miss it. I feel like my ego needs it. Sometimes I want to be like, I could be cheating. It's unlikely, but ask around.
She calls and you put the TV on low in the background.
That's good. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. You go wander into the lobby. Strike up a half a conversation with somebody. Yeah.
It's so funny. You ever, me and Chris DiStefano?
Oh yeah, of course. He's been on the podcast. I love him.
We did tour a lot together, and we would crack up because like when we called down for room service, we found out we did this independently, but we would call. Oh, I did it where I would call down for room service and be like, I'd order. When I eat, I like to eat a variety. So I might order like 2 or 3 plates, only eat partial, but I don't want to risk that one sucks and that's all I.
So you want pumpkin ravioli and you also want a pizza.
I want that. Right?
Yeah.
So then they always go because it's
how many people is it for?
How many people?
I know where this is going.
And I say 2. I always just say 2.
Yeah.
And then when they come up, I always close the bathroom and turn the shower on.
You're insane.
So they think somebody's in the shower. And I'm just like, and I'll even sometimes go, babe, they're here. You know what?
You're insane.
Yeah, I'm insane. And then what he does is he said he goes to when he goes to like fast food places, he'll look up at the thing and be like this, and he'll go, what did they say they wanted? Like to himself, and then like order more before he orders more, so they think that he's ordering for more than himself.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What did they say they wanted?
I didn't get caught in a lie, but that's a lie.
No, that is a lie.
Yeah.
Wait, so first of all, that's a bit.
Yeah,
that's a bit.
Yeah,
that's very funny.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And is it real?
Is what real?
At the shower thing? You run the shower and say, babe, they're here?
I have. Or I certainly close the bathroom door and turn the light on. Oh, absolutely. Oh, we didn't even touch on stuff that I do like that. I'm out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm out there.
Like what other kind of stuff like that?
I'm just crazy like that.
Like what other kind of stuff?
I had an eBay, for short on time.
Go ahead. No, we're not.
Okay. I had something that happened to me eBay, 100% true story that I'm now working on for this new hour. So it was like 2004. And I was selling eBay items back then, right? I was like into eBay. Yeah. And I sold this external DVD burner for $70 to this guy, Frank, from Arizona. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I used to sell a bunch of stuff. So I probably had bought it and then wasn't going to use it. I thought I needed it. So I sold it. And a few days later, I got an email from eBay saying that I had a strike on my account. Someone reported me for fraudulent activity. I didn't really know what for. And then he wrote to me, this guy wrote to me, and he said, hey, I just want to let you know I reported you to eBay for fraudulent activity because I got the DVD burner and it's not working the way I need it to. Now, that took me. I got really upset with that because I do have integrity, right? So I just was like, I wrote back to the guy. I said, why didn't you just come to me and tell me you had a problem before going to eBay? Because it's like a 3-strike rule. I was like, now I sell stuff on here, and now you gave me a strike. I was like, I would have worked with you to figure it out. But now, since you went to them and reported me, now you're coming to me saying that you want help. I'm not inclined.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll never forget this. I said, and I'm sure that it's just the fact that you don't know how to operate it.
That's funny.
Not that it's inoperable, because it was NIB. This is what I told him, which was lingo for new in box. So it was sealed. This thing was sealed. So this wasn't on me. So I threw that right back in his face.
Wow.
And I wrote him, so this ends the story of you and I.
Oh, that's wow.
Right? So
it's like medieval language.
it was great, right?
Yeah.
I love that. A little flair. It's fun. It's fun for me. It's fun for me.
Yeah, fun for you.
2 years later, I came home from being out one night, and I used to live in this little studio apartment. My desk was a desktop, and the desk for the desktop was in my kitchen. And I sit down after I get, like, it was like 3 a.m, and the new emails come up, and I look, and I had an email from that guy. Like, I opened it up, and it was an email from that guy from 2 years earlier, from the extraordinary universe, and it all it said was, "You're an ass." That's all it said.
Okay.
You're an ass. 3 words. And I was like, this can't be. I had to look back. I was like, this is the guy from Arizona, from the DVD burner, from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was February 4th, 2004.
Yeah.
Because I called my friend up, because this blew my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was the turn of events that made this guy log in 2
How
years
did he
later?
arrive at
and
that?
then you're an ass, which also really annoyed me.
Yeah. It's kind of like your niece being like, you're boring.
Yeah, it is.
Then you're like, am I an ass?
Right.
Maybe I'm the
No,
ass.
I was pissed at this guy, right?
Yeah.
I was like, this guy is such a dick. So my friend looked him up. Like, we found him through Facebook. And I got, to this day, I have a little picture of him. It's this big. It was from his LinkedIn profile.
Wow.
So I know what he looks like.
Wow.
Right? So I was like, how do I respond to this? Right? How do I respond to this? And I was like, I want to say something to this guy, but he's insulting, but it's like genius kind of, because he got under my skin. But what, did he come home drunk and remember?
Yeah.
Like, why did he 2 years later do this at this late?
Yeah.
And dude, I wrote February 4th, 2006 on a piece of paper, and I put it on my fridge. And I waited 2 years.
Oh my God.
To the day that he wrote me that.
Impressive.
This is
impressive.
a commitment, a true life commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 years. And on February 4th, 2006, it was 4 years from the original purchase. I opened up my email and I wrote him back, "No, you're the ass."
You're the ass. That's beautiful.
2 years later.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah. And so that's something I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to try to work that out.
That's a great bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to try to find him.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to take it.
Yeah, Nate Bargatze was like, you should, there might be a thing where you name the special like February 4th, 2006. And then like the whole point is like finding him through the bit or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever. So something like that. I was like, yeah.
Or like something where you show up where he lives. Oh, that would be aggressive.
Yeah.
That would be aggressive.
I'm there.
But then you like show him how the DVD burner works.
That would be fantastic.
Hey, I want to show you something.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
show you something. So the way it works is it was NIB,
right?
But if you plug it in, you know, and you have like an AC cord attached and everything. And
here's what I think you did. And why it didn't work.
Yeah. Here's what I think you did.
Were you running Windows ME?
Yeah. I just want to make sure you take the strike off my account.
Have him type a letter.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to work out one last joke?
I've been trying something on stage, but it hasn't been like landing. But it was like this time that I like put my foot in my mouth. Like, so I was at this event, right? And it was like it was an event for like, it was like a Comic-Con type of event. It was afterwards. My lawyer, who's a dear friend, was there, and he texted me and he's like, "Hey, I'm in the back area, whatever. I'm with Rachel McAdams and her husband. I told them about you and what you do, and I'd love to introduce you." So I'm like, "All right, I don't know her. I don't know, you know."
Yeah.
But this guy is one of the best people I ever met. So I go and I I meet her and her husband, and we're talking, and I just was like, I'm someone right away to break the ice or break the tension with a joke, but like a lot of times, like I don't realize that people don't really, they're maybe not ready for that. Like I don't know if Rachel McAdams is ready for someone to just immediately start joking with her. So we're talking, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I was talking to Danny, and like he's such a nice guy. He told me a lot about you, but yeah, we've been talking for like the last 40 minutes, blah blah." And I said, I don't know why I said this, but I go, "Well, you know that he is my lawyer, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "What? You know, just he's always listening. He's always listening and watching. So I just want to let you know that if you say anything." I said, if you say anything like out of line, or like I say, if you say anything that I could take the wrong way, that could be a potential financial windfall for me.
Oh my God. This is crazy. Why on earth? Why on earth would you say this?
Because it's so ridiculous.
This could be a huge financial windfall.
It's exact words I used, which I thought were so ridiculous that she was going to start laughing.
Oh, right. That it's a joke that
Am
even socially
really
would be funny.
going to sue you for something? No way. No way.
Not to mention a person you have 1 degree of separation from knowing.
Right. A huge financial windfall. I told her to watch her mouth. Because he's listening and he's ready to strike, and it could be a huge. I will sue you, right? Like that's basically what I was saying, and I thought she would laugh, and she went, and she smiled and like crooked her head, like in a way, like and then I saw her reach her hand back and hit her husband, her boyfriend, whatever, hit him like save me. Like she hit him. And then he turned around, and I guess he knew the thing, and he goes, "Oh, we should get going." She goes, "Yeah, we got to go." He was talking to her for 40 minutes, and she left after like 30 seconds of the first thing I said to her. So that's something I remembered recently that I was going to like try to like, you know, again, it's a story. So it's like, but I was going to bring that to the stage and figure out like where that kind of goes.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's short. It's got a lot of laughs along the way.
Yeah.
It's short, a bit of an ending.
Yeah.
Like it's short, like a punchline to put a button on it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's like there's so many ways you could go.
Sure,
right?
sure.
There's like a million ways you could go.
Yeah.
So, you know. So I sent her an email 2 years later to the date, and I said, "Hey, I have this idea. I think it could be a huge financial windfall." You know what I mean? And then you could call it back to the other one.
Yeah.
Because is that in the same hour, or what's going to be the same hour?
Yeah.
The eBay thing, probably, and the Rachel McAdams
Well, I don't know.
story?
I mean, that's so new. I don't know if I'm going to put it in, but yeah, it would be in the same. It's the same group of like stuff I'm working on.
I think that's very funny. I think it could be a huge financial windfall. I mean, it's so funny. I'm trying to think of anything else that would be like a capper to it. Yeah, I mean, so I had my lawyer draw up a lawsuit, and I wrote up the story that I just told to you just now, and I added in like a few things she didn't actually say.
Sure.
And then I said at the end of it, what I'm looking to obtain as the end game here is a huge financial windfall, and I sent it to her. And you could do it. I mean, you could do it.
Yeah.
You could have your lawyer send that.
Yeah, that's true. I could do that. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually.
That seems good.
Yeah. Another thing I do, and every time I'm on a late night talk show, I cross the amount that I get out on the contract that we have to sign, and I write $10,000. I've done it for 40 appearances.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm always like, this will pay dividends. Like someone's going to call me up, like Seth, Harry. I've done it to so many people, Jimmy, and no one's ever said a word. And I take a picture of it, so I have all.
You're a lunatic. You're a genuine, bona fide lunatic. I can't even believe we're talking right now. We're gonna do a thing called Working It Out for a Cause. We give.
Yes.
We donate to a nonprofit that you think does a good job.
Oh, all right. Excellent. How about Doctors Without Borders?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a few that I go to, but it's been a while since I've donated to that one.
We're going to donate to Doctors Without Borders. We will link to them in the show notes. We will contribute and encourage you to contribute, the listeners as well. Sal Vulcano, it's an honor.
It was so much fun.
You're a
dude.
hilarious person.
I'm so glad to sit down with you. It's been a minute.
All right. Awesome.
Right on.